Hello and welcome to Off the Shelf Reviews.
I don't know your fracking name, so what? Let's...
And I'm Gary, and today we're going to review and discuss Waxwork, which released in 1988 from writer-director Anthony Hickox. Iain, why don't you give us the synopsis?
Well, the story follows Zach Galligan's character, Mark Loftmore. He's a rich high school kid who he and his friends have been given an invite to a new Waxwork opening, but it's happening at midnight. When he and his friends go there, they realize that the exhibits all hold some of the most evil people that have ever lived. And as each one of his friends end up in the exhibits, they realize that their souls are going to potentially bring these exhibits to life. Will these exhibits take over the world, or will Mark be able to stop them?
They'll make a movie about anything nowadays.
Well, Iain, here we are at the very beginning of Anthony Hickox's directing career. And I have to say, I came to this film fairly late.
Yeah,
it was
me too.
actually Waxwork 2 that I came across first, mentioned in the Sundown video, browsing and endlessly looking for old Bruce Campbell films, and then in an old VHS second-hand market, come across Waxwork 2. Never heard of it. From the director of Hellraiser 3. I'm like, But it's got Bruce Campbell in it. I was like, it's just a buy. I've never heard of this film. It's got Bruce Campbell in it, done. And then after that, spent ages looking out for Waxwork 1. And wow, so fond memories, but I have to say it has been a little bit since I last watched these films.
Yeah. And like Gary just said, I was the same. I'd always seen the poster for Waxwork in the video stores when I was younger. So you got the little guy who's opening a door and then some weird kind of faces in the doorway. And you're like, oh, that looks horrific as hell. But never had the chance to actually watch it.
And because most of us grew up watching TV, late night, horror movies, sci-fi movies, this one never was broadcast over here that I managed to catch.
But then we get a chance to watch Waxwork 2, and it's great, but there's this whole flashback thing that happens at the beginning of Waxwork 2 that we were like, well, we need to see Waxwork 1 now to work out how the hell it gets to this. And yeah, you kind of... For me, this movie is I wouldn't say... maybe the ultimate 80s movie, but it's definitely kind of up there because it's strange, it's weird, it's easy to follow, it's not too long, it's quirky but not too campy, it's funny but not too much, it's gory but not too much, and it's just enough to kind of tie you over. But you get that kind of opening where you've got the house and then you've got this guy who's kind of being thrown into a fireplace.
It's the fact that it lingers on the house. You got thunder and lightning, the music's playing, and you're like, we're going to cut into the house in a minute. We're going to cut to the house in a minute. And then we cut to a guy being thrown into a fireplace. You're like, oh, okay, we did cut inside. Somebody else in a grey coat just smashing all of these display cabinets and looting everything.
Yeah, and you're like, what's going on? I kind of got to give it to the stuntman. He literally put his head in that fireplace.
Oh, yeah. Well, apparently Kane Hodder is one of the stunt coordinators for this film,
right,
and would actually play Frankenstein's monster later in the film. So it might have even been Kane Hodder himself doing that stunt.
Just put your head in there. Yeah.
He set himself on fire a lot, that man.
And then we cut to Mark, Zach Galligan's character, living at home with his overbearing mother, who's obviously super rich, and she doesn't want him kind of
drinking coffee.
Doesn't want him drinking coffee and doesn't want him mixing with the help. And so you kind of just get the impression from Zach Galligan or Mark, that he needs to get out. He needs to do something with his life.
Right. At the same time, we cut to two random girls walking by, and they get stopped, and they suddenly get startled by David Warner, who's... I mean, what was he wearing? Was he on his way back from an audition to Charlie and the Chocolate Factory or something? It's the brightest colours I've ever seen that man wear.
Yeah, he just kind of appears at the gate because the two girls have noticed this building and it says Waxwork, and I assume it's on their neighbourhood street,
right?
Because they keep making this recurring joke of, oh, it's a weird place to have a Waxwork place.
Strange, I've never seen that before. Yeah, weird place for a waxwork.
Strange place for a waxwork.
Yeah, that's what we said.
And he just appears and he's talking to him. But David Warner is an amazing actor, but he just comes across all leery and kind of, you just feel evil coming off of him.
Well, of course, he is evil.
Yeah.
I mean, he made a career of playing these types of characters, so you're just like, perfect casting.
Yeah. And one of these girls, Michelle Johnson, who plays China Webster, she's the ex-girlfriend to Mark.
Yeah.
Or he's trying to see more of her, but she is actually sleeping with all these other guys, and she's unsure if she's going to be able to make it to this midnight showing Waxwork show. So then we have them turning up at school, and they're all in high school.
What was with their history teacher?
Man, I don't know. He kind of really liked German Nazi history, didn't he?
A bit too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, is he already one of the escaped Waxwork figures?
I mean, like I said, though, let's just establish quickly they're in school. So we'll have one class, and then we'll have them sit out in a field.
Right, yeah, so we can have the football team, and the flirting with the new boyfriend with China.
Yeah. But I got to give a shout out to my boy Dana Ashbrook in the movie again. Tony, he's a close friend of Mark, and every now and again he's dropping jokes that obviously China is sleeping around with people, but he's given up drinking, and again, so he's gone through some harshness. But they've all agreed that they should go to this Waxwork show at midnight. Why? Is it Wednesday or something?
It's a school night.
It's a school night.
But I guess they want a little bit of culture, a bit of class, a bit of sophistication.
Yeah, but Mark's got a 40-page essay on tyrants or dystopian...
Was it a 20-page essay on the invasion of Lithuania and then a 40-page essay on dictators? I was like, you can't do that in one night. What the hell?
Well, he could if he had a computer and some books.
But he says there he gave it to his maid to do. Yes. And I do like that story thread is picked up later on when he comes back from the waxwork, and the maid is like, I don't even speak proper English. Here's your essay.
And then he's reading it and he's just like, yeah, no, I can't hand this in.
The trouble with dictators, I think dictators are the bad people. They have the shouting voices and the small mustaches.
But the four of them pick up two other extra friends, and they make their way to the Waxwork building, and the doors open, and we're greeted by Hans, who's the small little doorman. But two of the friends have decided they don't want to see the place. They bugger off.
I just thought that was amazing. There was two people I think we're in a horror movie. Let's go. Out. Sadly, they will return, Phil.
Yeah. So we follow Sarah and China and Tony and Mark into the building, and they're sitting around and they're just waiting. And then the doors open and they go in to see the exhibits.
Yeah. And I do love the two doormen. We've got the little one and then the really tall one.
Lurch. Yeah, I kept calling him Lurch.
Right? I think he's called Junior as well. Yeah. The irony. But yeah, eventually they are then taken into the Waxworks and they start looking around all the exhibits, and straight away, the very first exhibit, you're like, that's a real person. Why? Because they can see they're breathing, they're moving. Okay, so we're on a budget here. We can't afford any waxwork. So we're just going to have people hold meticulously still.
And just stare.
Yeah. Now, most of them do a really good job of just holding that position. But the edits are pretty quick, but you can still tell they're just quick edit. I can't hold this.
Shaking.
A little shaking. Yeah.
But we see that Tony is kind of looking at this werewolf exhibit, and then he loses his lighter into the exhibit, and once he steps past the rope, he is transported into this werewolf world. And so we follow Dana Ashbrook as he completely changes his look as well. His hair becomes
got
big.
A wig on, yeah.
Yeah, and he's got different clothes.
Like he's in a different age now.
Yeah, and he thinks he's been slipped acid in his drinks, and he thinks he's being hypnotized as well. But he sees this potential house, and he heads up there, and he opens up the door, and he's met by Gimli.
Yeah, John Rhys Davies, yeah. Professor Arturo.
Yeah, and John Rhys Davies is the person who's going through the changes to become the werewolf, and so we don't really watch him change. He starts to go through it, and then Dana Ashbrook goes outside, doesn't he? And then when he comes back, John Rhys Davies is already a werewolf.
Yeah. And I like that we know he's a werewolf. We saw the claws going down the table, and he mentions the full moon, so we're like, we're film savvy, we know what's coming.
Yeah.
But I like that we see the silhouette and we only see a quick glimpse of the werewolf until it does linger on screen a little bit longer.
You do get that POV camera chasing Dana Ashbrook around the room.
Yeah, I was like, they're hiding the suit. They're hiding the suit. But the suit was put together by Bob Keane, who did a lot of the makeup and monster work in the film. Apparently, he worked 18 hours a day for 8 weeks straight to get all of the monster and prosthetic and stuff all ready for this film. And he was told for this assignment, the werewolf, do the howling. I want a howling werewolf. And I got to say, I think he delivered fantastically here.
Yeah, I think so as well. The way that the jaw kind of moves. And like you said, with the same when we were looking at the exhibits, we're like, oh yeah, that's just a person pretending to be a waxwork. With this werewolf suit, you're just like, oh, it's somebody in a suit. But the way he's fighting Dana Ashbrook, and then he bites him on the arm, and you're like, well, you're infected now. And then the huntsmen turn up, and they're potentially trying to obviously shoot and kill John Rhys Davies.
Yeah. Now there's a bit of there's a lot of editing errors in the film.
There is
continuity ones too, like the bumbling hunters come in. He's like, get the silver bullets. Blah, drop them.
They drop them.
I've only got 3 of them. But the hunter picks up the silver bullet, shoots the werewolf after his partner's just had his head squished.
Yeah.
And kills John Rhys Davies' werewolf, but then realizes Dana Ashbrook's turning into a werewolf, so he reaches down, and again, the 3 silver bullets are on the floor. I was like, was that a shell casing? Or was it...
No, it's the same fucking shot.
Yeah.
And so then he shoots Dana Ashbrook, Tony's character, dead in the exhibit, and then we come back out into the Waxwork building, and Tony is now part of the exhibit.
Yeah, the exhibit, yeah. Now, there is a vampire one that comes soon after this one. In the original script, the vampire one was supposed to be up front of the werewolf one.
Oh, right.
But they figured that the werewolf, short, I guess, really explains exactly what's going on.
Yes.
Much more concisely and quickly.
Yeah, totally. Because we then follow China, who sees Dracula, and thinks he's pretty good looking, and the rope drops.
Even his waxworks has got that vampiric magnetism.
Yeah. And she is lured into the exhibit, and she is confronted by Dracula and his vampire brides and whatnot. And once again, China is all changed into a white gown and thing.
Now, unlike her friend who was just like, hey, I've been drugged, where am I? I'm trans. She's just like, all right.
Yeah, I totally believe in it. But it would also pay off later, because it's the way that Mark explains later on that, you're lured in by the spell, and once you potentially believe that this is real and that they can kill you, that gives the Waxworks power, so that when you are killed, they can take your soul for the bigger spell. And so she's lured down onto the table, and Dracula kind of gives her a plate of fresh meat or raw meat for her to eat and stuff.
Don't you want the sauce?
That's it. Was it? She's like, steak. Oh yeah, I eat steak tartare all the time. I'm like, come on, girl, fucking. But she kind of slurps it down, and then all the other vampires, they go to slurp it, and he tells them off, and so they all eat normally. And then she's taken off to her room.
Yeah.
And the vampire junior, I suppose, you don't find out his name, he comes to the room and he tries to attack her, and she escapes. And she's racing through the building, and she gets into the basement, and we'd heard that her boyfriend Charlie, who is part of the exhibit or whatever, he'd left her there with Dracula. And so she finds him in the basement, and they've been kind of taking the flesh off of his leg.
Right.
And I was dying with all the fucking mishaps and shit that happened to that poor guy on the table.
Right. He's got a rat chewing on his leftovers.
It's a great effect, because I was like, I'm assuming the top part of his leg is where his leg bends down.
Yeah.
And then the end bit is where the foot is. But I was like, wow, that foot does look still real, and it's still moving. So unless somebody else has got their foot sticking through the table and you've just got the makeup effect.
Yeah. But she tries to save her fiancé, but she then gets ambushed by all of the vampire women that come and attack her. And, she turns into full-on superhero mode here.
Kicks ass, yeah.
She ends up throwing one of the vampires into the wine rack. She gets impaled by the wine bottles, and all the champagne starts pouring out of her front. It's like, what?
Yeah.
I mean, she is in a white gown, but it doesn't stay white for very long. There's blood red spewing everywhere. I'm like, this is fantastic.
That is great. Yeah, she kills like all the vampires, and then even her boyfriend gets bitten, and he turns into a vampire, so she has to kill him too. But then she escapes out, and she's confronted by Dracula, and he uses his hypnotic gaze to obviously get her into the exact same position as the exhibit was. And so when he bites her and it comes back out into the Waxwork building, she's now in the position at what she was looking at. And Sarah and Mark, well, they get told by Hans that their friends have left and that they should go home. But then Mark is investigating it the next day to realize that neither China or Tony made it home. And so he heads to the police, and it turns out that the police are also investigating the fact that like 13 other people have disappeared around the town in like 2 weeks, which is obviously really, really bad. And so Mark convinces him to come to the Waxwork building to have a look. And so when he gets there, the police officers met at the door by David Warner. David Warner's like, I've never met these people ever before. I would have never have had a midnight exhibition. They must have broken it.
Right, we're not even properly open yet.
No. Hey, Mr. Detective, why don't you come in and have a look? And he tries to, in a way, push or throw the detective into one exhibit just to finish him off, but the detective doesn't fall for it. And it's the fact that he also gets, the detective gets lured.
Yeah,
by the...
well, it's at first because the detective goes and investigates the vampire one, and he realizes that the waxwork underneath the wax, there's flesh.
Yeah,
so he tries to get a sample. And I love the moment where he's like trying to scoop it up, and he just grabs it and throws it in the evidence bag. So, but yeah, he does end up then getting thrown into the Egyptian exhibit, which he expressed an interest in.
Yeah, yeah.
And I really love this setup. I'm like, it's the mummy, so we've got the Egyptian hieroglyphics everywhere. We've got the sarcophagus that's being pushed open. Yeah. And the moment it does, the curse is set in force. The doors close behind, and the mummy emerges.
Yeah, I love that guy who's on the floor. He's just like, oh, you're my God. And the mummy just crushes his head.
Yeah.
That poor guy. And then the girl gets thrown into the sarcophagus and grabbed by another mummy, so she's left there.
There's a snake in there as well.
Yeah, and then the mummy grabs the detective and he throws him in there and he closes the lid over him, and so now the detective is part of the exhibition.
Yeah. So Mark does some rooting around at home upstairs because he's like, hey, did you know that my dad was like an occultist?
Yeah.
He believed in all this kind of crazy stuff.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Since he died, we all put it all up in the attic. So he's up there with Sarah and they're looking around, and she gets drawn to a certain particular book.
Yeah, she
has a bit of a hot flash.
She'd kind of seen the Marquis de Sade or Sade or whatever.
Sade, yeah.
In the first night, but then she'd come away, and there's this whole underlying story that she's a virgin and that obviously she's waiting for the right one. So then she finds the big book of Marquis de Sade.
It's a pretty extreme place to go for a virgin.
It's like, how big do you need the writing? Like, what does that say? Oh, Marquis de fucking Sade. Oh, fucking don't open that fucking book. But yeah, Mark also, I don't know if it's his dad, it's his uncle Wilfred, played by Patrick McNee.
Awesome.
That his mum doesn't like talking about, because obviously they've got this kind of occultist background and stuff. But they come across evidence that David Warner's character, David Lincoln, is potentially like 100 years old, maybe 200 years old, and that the guy who died at the beginning died like 60 years ago. Something like that.
I got confused with that as well because I felt like that wasn't too long ago, because the fireplace that he got burnt in is the house that Mark is living in now.
No,
because it's the same fireplace in the background, and then there's the picture on the wall is either of his dad or of the guy that got burnt at the beginning. I'm not sure the film established a strong enough link there.
Yeah. But you're right, because they're just like, right, okay, David Lincoln is still alive. We need to go speak to my uncle, and so then they go and speak to Patrick McNee, who, like, he's always fucking happy.
Yeah.
Like, that guy is always, even in Howling when he was a fucking werewolf, he's happy. And even in this, the only time he turns like or sad or changes expression is when he realizes that David Warner's character is still alive.
Yeah.
And and you realize that actually Uncle Wilfred is part of a secret sect of people who have been trying to find David Lincoln because it turns out that all of the artifacts that he stole at the beginning are all evil artifacts connected to the evil people in the exhibitions. And that the magic goes that if you put the artifacts on the waxworks and then kill somebody in there, they will come to life and potentially will take over the entire world.
So the gist of it is David Warner sold his soul to the devil, and he needs to make like 18 sacrifices. One for each of the Waxworks exhibits in order for them all to be free to then destroy or take over the world.
Yeah. I gotta say, as confusing as that is, it's a hell of a lot better plot than fucking Waxwork with Paris Hilton.
Oh, hell yeah.
So they decided they're gonna break in to the Waxwork building.
They turned up at the front of the house and I'm like, well, they're here to burn it down. I'm like, you've got a brown paper bag. And he's like, here's some lighter fluid. Let's get, she's like, they mentioned about burning it down from the outside. I'm like, it's a big brick building. You've got fucking gas. What are you going to do? But yeah, they do end up going in there and then getting ready to torch the place.
Yeah, but Sarah is lured by the Marquis and he brings her into his exhibit and chains her up. And it's this whole thing about, you know, how he's going to, you know, whip her until she's almost dead. And then they're going to rape her. And then when she's finished being raped, they'll probably whip her some more until she dies. And this whole bit, I'm like, man, Marquis, you are just a dick. You know, like how anybody can really just sit there and say, oh, I really like the idea that the Marquis have of whipping people and raping people. And I'm just like, really? Guy's an asshole, because even the prince is just like, look, can we just get somebody else? Because Sarah's really into it, so she's not breaking, and so the Marquis is kind of falling for her because she's
her innocence and the fact that she's endured more than any of his other victims.
Yeah, and we even see the other girls, and the other girls are like, oh, just because she's a virgin, and they're like, well, we all used to be virgins once. I'm like, oh, there's a whole life world in this place.
Well, a bit of trivia for you, and a spoiler as well. But the English prince in that scene is the director.
Oh,
and
nice.
Not long after meeting the actress playing Sarah, Deborah Foreman, Hickox and Foreman started to date.
Oh, nice.
But between Waxwork and Waxwork 2, they kind of had a bit of a messy breakup, and subsequently Sarah would not be, the actress would not be reprising the role in the sequel.
No, yeah. Mark at this point has been pushed into his own exhibit by the doorman. And I thought it was pretty cool because it basically turns into like Night of the Living Dead.
Yes.
And it even goes black and white where he's in the graveyard and he's being attacked by zombies. But they're not your normal zombies. They're like your Return of the Living Dead zombies where the body parts will come alive and do their own thing. So it's like he gets his leg grabbed by the hand of a zombie, and then he chops the hand off, but the hand is still going and moving. And I just thought that was a cool effect as well.
They did it very well,
crawling in the grass.
Yeah, and you can see the trail behind it, of course, with the operating it, but it's really cool looking. Yeah, and I mean, this film was a love letter to all of the greats, all of the classics.
Yeah,
and throughout all of the Waxwork exhibits, you're just like, well, we know Frankenstein's monster and we know Dracula, and but they're. I don't know, should we reveal all of them or should we wait until the monster mash at the end?
Well, I mean, there's a few that are just easily to be able to spot. But it's like Mark escapes from the exhibit and then he jumps into the one with Sarah to try and rescue her. And he even realizes that actually, you know, they can't hurt him unless obviously he believes in it. So then when he gets into the Marquis de Sade one, he says that to Sarah and she's kind of wanting to stay.
Yeah.
But he's like, no, we need to go. And he pulls them out. And this is when David Warner's like, no, these are our last two victims. And then the two people from the beginning of the movie who decided that they were going to fuck off come back. And they get sacrificed.
And almost instantly, in they go and their corpses materialize right away. Like, oh.
Well, I mean, I suppose time might work differently in the
dimension. Yeah.
But they're there. And they've been sacrificed, and the waxworks are starting to come alive, and David Warner's well happy with himself.
But little does he realise his arch nemesis is at the front door in an armoured tank. I mean, he's in a wheelchair that's dressed like a tank.
Like, it's so crazy. He comes rolling in, doesn't he?
Yeah. It's brilliant. He's got all of his henchmen with him, the entire occultist kind of group here, ready to do battle with the devil.
Even the butler from the start of the movie.
What a twist!
It's turned out to be a helper. And it just turns into a massive, like, fight.
Yeah.
Between all the exhibits and all the people who are trying to stop the exhibits from escaping, and still the plan is there to burn the place down, you know, and you've got humans dying and you've got exhibits dying and people all over the place.
Well, just in case you miss any in all of the carnage going on, I'll list all 18 of the creatures that are in this scene. You have Dracula, of course, the Phantom of the Opera, a random witch, Jack the Ripper, the Marquis de Sade. You got Mr. Hyde, a golem, a werewolf, the mummy, a voodoo priest, zombies, an urban legend killer, the Invisible Man, Frankenstein's monster, Invasion of the Body Snatchers pod people, demonic baby,
the demonic
and
baby,
a cobra man.
Man, I gotta say, one of the best fucking moments in this movie is when Dracula is there and he turns into a bat and he goes to fly off and a guy grabs him and sticks a 44 Magnum in his face and blows his fucking head off.
He's changing!
Make my day.
That was absolutely my favourite moment in the whole film. It's brilliant. I mean, that comes just before or just after the demonic baby. It's alive! Gets thrown across the room and then blasted as well. Man, is carnage. You sometimes you can't tell what's going on, and the editing moves people around from shot to shot, but Hickox was told by his dad before even beginning production, and he was told, if you're going to make a film, shoot the ending first, because you'll probably run out of money and time before you get to it.
Ah, nice.
He did not listen to his dad's advice. So when they got to this moment, the studio executives turned up and went, yeah, you're out of budget and out of time. So they had to shoot all of the ending, which is the entire... I mean, they were supposed to do dimension hopping and in and out of Waxworks. We're like, no, it's just going to be a barroom brawl. That's it. That's all we got time for.
There's one bit, like, when you see all the good people come in, you can see that they're all trying to stay in the camera shot instead of spreading out.
Yeah, I want to be in the movie. Stay in the frame.
But Mark is gifted by the uncle a sword and says, "Look, use this to try to help us take everything down." And so he ends up sword fighting the Marquis de Sade.
It turns into a swashbuckling sword fight.
But the Marquis is just like got years of fucking experience and just keeps disarming him and giving him the sword back and disarming and giving him the sword back. And I think it's Sarah who comes behind and kills the Marquis to save Mark. So the two of them end up chasing David Lincoln, David Warner's character, into the basement. I mean, I don't understand what David Warner was planning now. Like, his exhibits have come to life, but they're all dying.
But they were supposed to take over the world or destroy it. But...
Yeah, and so, like, is he trying to escape or something? But, like, he hides at one point and he pulls out this weird-looking gun. Like, at first I was like, is that a laser gun? But no, it shoots bullets. And then he goes to shoot Mark and Sarah. But Sir Wilfrid comes rolling into the room on his wheelchair tank. And he shoots David Lincoln. And David Lincoln falls into the waxwork kind of pool in the middle of the room. And then Sir Wilfrid gets his head ripped off by the werewolf. Which is always great, because that's the shot you see in Waxwork 2.
Right, yeah. It's so ironic that he got killed by a werewolf.
Yeah. But wait, we get like a little quite cheap jump scare from David Warner as he jumps out and tries to grab Mark, but he hasn't got the strength and he falls back into the waxworks, and then they have to escape because the whole absolute building is coming down.
Yeah, and unfortunately it does end on a pretty awful effect where they get outside and look back at the house. And I love the miniature.
Yes.
But when you see the fire that's been badly superimposed in behind the windows, it's like, that's ridiculously cheap.
No fire ever looks like that in real life. It's like you've just taken the model and then just plonked it on top of a fire. But the building is obviously coming down. The waxworks have been destroyed. But one has managed to escape. And we see the hand crawl across the grass.
It's not over yet. Have to wait for part 2.
We'll have to wait for part 2.
Well, Ian, what were your favourite scenes from Waxwork?
Oh, man, like that vampire bit with the 44 Magnum was fucking banging. I do really like the werewolf bit with Dana Ashbrook at the beginning. Like I said, I love Dana Ashbrook. I'm just a big fan of him. And then the fact that obviously, like you said, the special effects guy was trying to do the howling. So when you see like his flesh like bubbling and him changing. You're like, no, we need to stop him before he turns into a werewolf. The boyfriend getting everybody jumping on him when he's being attacked by the vampires, and he's just screaming because obviously that leg is completely open and people just jumping on it and grabbing it. Like the vampire grabs a bit off at one point and just eats it. Yeah, it's just the little fun mode. Like you said, that big fight sequence at the end, like it could have been done better, but there's so much going on that, like, if you're looking on the left, then when you go to watch it the second or third time, you watch what's on the right. You're just seeing people get killed.
Precursor to Cabin in the Woods, like a Monster Mash.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are so many memorable moments in the film, and there are so many that it's like something even funnier will happen, and you might even forget what happened earlier. But yeah, the vampire bat being shot, the demonic child being shot, John Rhys Davies as a werewolf, just fantastic. Like the gravitas he brings to the seriousness of it, brilliant. I have to ask, as a side to my favourite scenes, what did you think of Zach Galligan's performance in the film?
Man, I've always kind of just liked him ever since I watched Gremlins.
Of course.
And
I agree.
I'm a big fan of Gremlins 2 as well.
Which would come after this.
Like he was able to deliver what he needed to do on such a low budget with probably not great direction from a guy who's like, this is his first time. So he started off being a bit of a dick, but then by the end he's the hero, and I'm like, well, that's a cool character arc. It could have been better, but
yeah. I was watching this and I was like, man, Gremlins is so good and you are so natural in that film. But in this, where it's like, you don't have the Spielberg magic kind of thing, or the Columbus magic. And so his acting in this, I was just like, it's probably why I haven't seen him in anything else other than Gremlins 2.
Well, that's it. You need the director to direct you.
So I couldn't say whether he's a good or bad actor. In this, I think he's middle. Like, he's not great and not awful.
You mean mediocre?
Yes, I do. But it was the sequence where I was in an interview he even said like that this was the scene that I felt most uncomfortable with because I felt bad as an actor.
Right.
I'm like, well, good, because you look bad as an actor. And it's the sequence where he has to burst into the school pretending to be ill. And grab the girl and get out, and everyone's like kind of laughing, and he's just like, oh, I've got these wounds, I've got to be at the hospital, it's boils and warts and pain.
Yeah, that was rushed and silly, and
it was supposed to be funny, but the delivery was not matching the comedy it was going for. But hey, I suppose he was fine.
Yeah.
The vampire getting impaled on the champagne bottles, brilliant. The Egyptian guy getting his head squished, loved that. Sir Wilfred getting his head pulled off by the werewolf at the end. Like, there's just so many moments and they happen so quickly. There's just so many memorable moments, but the highlight, play the clip again, it's the vampire bat being shot in the face.
Make my day.
Ian, do you recommend Waxwork?
I do recommend Waxwork. I mean, 80s, cheesy, camp, funny, Zach Galligan, David Warner, vampire bat being shot by a 44 Magnum, werewolves, John Rhys Davies. Like, there's not like a lot in there that you really want to grip hold of and say, oh, it's the greatest horror movie ever. But then at the same time, remember that movie by David Gordon Green where Michael Myers kicked the door into the girl's face and she shot herself in the face?
It's a pretty funny moment.
That's how this movie makes me feel. It's funny.
Yes, I'm definitely recommending Waxwork. Because if you're looking for a wild, crazy, and unpredictable horror comedy that shares your love for the classics, this is for you. It really is, though, an unpolished film, but it makes up for it with some excellent visual effects and makeup work, along with some decent performances and comical gags. It's very offbeat and silly and gory, and it never takes itself too seriously. Along with some good pacing, you're never left waiting long before another memorable sequence. There are plenty of mistakes and flaws in the film, from the Waxworks breathing, the poor compositing, some wonky editing, and especially in the chaos of the last 10 minutes, but the film has a charm to it. It was a labour of love, and it shows. So yeah, it's a high recommendation from me. It is absolutely worth a watch, and this is a must-watch for horror fans and those that appreciate budget horror filmmaking. This film never feels tired or worn out, and it never fails to entertain after multiple rewatches, and it perfectly sets you up for part 2, Lost in Time. Stop on by and give The Afterlife a try. Thanks for watching Off the Shelf Reviews.
It's my party and I cry if I want to, cry if I want to, cry if I want to. You would cry too if it happened to you.
Quick, he's changing!
Make my day.